Hey everyone, before the video starts, I wanted to say sorry for the long wait. I had to deal with 2 exams for my college course, and my old laptop working and got a new one, so yeah, I've been going for a little bit. But I still managed to finish it all the same, so enjoy the video. Hopefully it won't take as long next time.
It's me, Mario!
Hello, we all know how amazing Mario 64 is, and so I'm going to cover the Super Mario 64 Iceberg. For lots of trivia about the game, with more well-known trivia at the top of the iceberg, and become more obscure as we get to the bottom of it. Also, if I get anything wrong or miss anything with these entries, make sure to let me know in the comments. So let's go on with it, shall we?
Let's go!
Backwards long jump.
This is a trick using speedruns where you long jump and then move backwards using the analog stick. Interestingly, there is no speed cap on Mario's negative speed, so the negative speed you get from long jumping backwards on a specific part of the geometry of an area, such as stairs, will build and build and build with no restraints, leading to clipping through walls and accessing outbound areas.
Half A press.
This is used in the A button challenge, a challenge where you try to get all 120 stars in the game in as little A presses as possible. This term was coined by Caretaker 2012, where a full A press starts with the initial press of the A button, the period in which you hold the button, and when you release it. The term is used when you enter a level already pressing the A button from a previous A press. Caretaker did a much better explanation than my uncreative ass.
Parallel universes.
These are copies of invisible geometry of levels that are far out of bounds. Using Torsive speedruns, it also crashes the game on the original N64 console when the camera tries to follow you.
L is real 2401.
This is one of the most well-known solved myths in gaming history, which is the hunt for Luigi in Mario 64. One of the main pieces of evidence for this refers to the star statue in the courtyard, specifically the illegible writing on it, which people thought it read L is real 2401, while other suggestions were that it said Eternal Star. The mystery was solved when the Nintendo Giga leak happened, when a model of Luigi was actually found in the game's files, providing that he was originally planned for inclusion.
Space World 95 Beta.
Space World was Nintendo's answer to their own E3, where they previewed their own games and had consoles around a place for the public to get a taste of what the games is going to be, with one of these being Super Mario 64. Footage online shows a much different version of the game, with the Mario's animation being slightly different and the Peach stained glass window not being included yet.
Bomb Battlefield Bridge Tagging.
The bridge near the beginning of Bob-omb Battlefield for some reason has a hangable ceiling. This isn't the only anomaly in the game, with the hardest by far being one of the clouds from Wing Mario over the rainbow.
Whomp's Fortress Tower 1-up.
At the bottom of the tower in Whomp's Fortress, if you punch one of the walls, it explodes and shows a 1-up to collect. This is one of the more difficult 1-ups to collect, since there is no indication that the wall is faulty in any way.
Impossible Coin / Goomba.
This refers to a Goomba near the end of Bowser in the Sky, where a Goomba trip to spawn has one of the Goombas spawn off of the ledge of the platform. Since there is no platform under that Goomba, it spawns at the death barrier, in which it dies one frame after spawning. There are other impossible coins at Tiny Huge Island and other stages.
Let's go!
Dancing Flowers. This GIF was a cut asset from ground decoration for SM64. For whatever there was grass in the game, not much else here. Big Boo unused text. I think this refers to this text from the cutting room floor, in which it says that the Boo is going to haunt Mario,
and taunts him by bragging about his abilities. Mirror Room. On the second floor of the castle, there is a room with a giant mirror where you can find Snowman's Land. Many people have found this room unsettling, and many creepypastas have been created through it. Don't become his lunch. This refers to the sign in the big room with Dory in it. There is a sign in which it states, "Do not become his lunch." This is a stark contrast from the peaceful nature of Dory in the game. Maybe it's a cut asset when he was trying to eat you or something. Volcano blocks. This refers to the blocks next to one of the stars in Lethal Lava Land, which looks more man-made than anything in the volcano, which is very out of place for a volcano anywhere, since it would be way too hot for any organic life to live there, except for the bullies without touching the lava. Blarg. This refers to an enemy that debuted in Super Mario World and was planned for Super Mario 64, however was cut for unknown reasons. However, an animation still exists, in which you can hack into a game and see what it would look like if it was included into the game. Yoshi Saddle. After you get all 120 stars in the game, you gain access to the castle roof, where you can find Yoshi. Interestingly, his saddle is all red, which is very different to his Super Mario World and modern design with a white outline. On the hieroglyphics inside the pyramid in Shifting Sandland, there are letters that can be found that show the letters ENT. This could just be a coincidence. The Big Dud. This is a theory that describes that after beating King Bob-omb, the star you collected was in fact the source of King Bob-omb's power, and now is one of the boulders at the bottom of the hill. On future stars in Bob-omb Battlefield, the main pieces of evidence for this is that there is a third bottle on the pit at the bottom of the mountain, racing King Koopa the Quick, while on King Bob-omb on the summit there's only two boulders. Jolly Roger Bay Vanishing Fog. On a fresh save file, entering Jolly Roger Bay for the first time ever shows a low fog over the entire stage, when it sets an ominous tone for the stage. When you do another star, it's gone. Out of curiosity, when you enter star 1 again, it's still gone. In fact, the only way to get it back is to start on a new save file. Secret Aquarium. I don't know why this entry is so far down, since a new player can find it with enough exploring. However, one interesting thing is that the setting is weirdly unnatural, since it is a massive cube in the void, while in other levels it's kind of the same thing, but it's at least some areas you can recognise, while, again, Secret Aquarium is a box with water in it. Bugged fire texture. See this texture when Mario's ass is getting burnt? That's not supposed to look like that, it's supposed to look like this. I don't know why this happened. It must have been a mistake on the developer's part, but who knows? It might as well be aliens. Please walk quietly in the hallway. This is a message that can be found on the second floor of the castle, on the staircase to the third floor. I don't know why this is here, other than it is probably a rule set by Peach before Bowser invaded. Hazy Maze Cave Alcove. Okay, I can't find any information on this. Looking up the definition of alcove, it describes a recess in the wall of a room or garden. I can't remember anywhere in Hazy Maze Cave that is anything like that. Unagi's Tunnel. This is a feature that was not in the game, however some players remember Unagi had a cave in which you can enter. This will be brought up later. Mips throwing. During development of the game, Mario used to be able to throw mips. An unused animation was also found which depicts mips landing from a full fan on the cutting room floor. Yellow cap switch. We all know the red, blue and green cap switches that unlock the different caps. Well, a yellow switch was considered. It's a feature that used to unlock boxes with Koopa shells inside them.
Broken paintings. This refers to the paintings on the second floor of Peach's castle, where it shows repeated paintings from the previous floor. This was used to save up on memory on the cartridge, since cartridges use less space than compact discs.
Jolly Roger Bay box. This refers to the box on the ship in Jolly Roger Bay, near the red coin star. The box is known for having a wide range of damage that can be dealt to Mario. Sometimes it is minimal damage, while other times it snatches half of your health. Gold medal. This refers to what's said on the sign in front of in the mansion in Big Boo's Haunt, where it says if you kill all the ghosts you get a ghoul medal. This is of course a play on words of gold medal, something like ghoul. There's some people actually recall getting a sort of ghoul medal in the game. This will be brought up later. Womp King turns into the castle. Before and after you fight King Womp in Womp's fortress, he complains how everyone uses them for roads, buildings and other structures. And this theory suggests that the corpse of King Womp was used to create the castle scene on future missions, which justifies his complaints.
Let's go!
Mario enters Wet Dry World early in Got Milk commercial. In a Got Milk commercial, Mario is seen failing to jump to a ledge over and over again in Wet Dry World. Some people suggested that he entered Wet Dry World early, but you can clearly see that Mario has 37 stars, which is more than enough to open the 30-star door and beat Die Dogs and then Bowser in the Fire Sea to get access to Wet Dry World, which I don't know why the series exists. You can clearly see his 37 stars. How Bowser got into the castle with his sub. This is one of the many suggestions of how Bowser invaded Peach's castle was through his sub in a stealthy sort of strategy. This series put into question though when you find there is no damage done to the moat or anywhere in Peach's castle itself, especially in the basement where it's located. Some may suggested that he went up the waterfall somehow because when you the waterfall. That because you enter the big hole where the sub usually probably came in, you enter into the moat. But I don't know. Wet Dry World Skybox. The skybox of Wet Dry World is unsettling to some people. It seems to depict a city underwater. In fact, the city is a real city in Spain. This contributes to the overall negative atmosphere of Wet Dry World as a whole. Big Boo's Haunt Forest. The skybox for Big Boo's Haunt is a forest on a dark night where the full moon is clearly visible. This is creepy because, well, it's Big Boo's Haunt. It's supposed to be. It's like the ghost level of the game. True locations of the paintings. This relates to a few levels in the game, notably Womp's Fortress and Hazy Maze Cave. For Womp's Fortress, it appears in Super Mario Galaxy 2, called Throwback Galaxy, as a level, which means that it's in a complete different galaxy to where Mario is in. And for Hazy Maze Cave, the hidden star cavern of the Metal Cap has a stage exit where it shows Mario going down the waterfall into the moat, which means that Hazy Maze Cave might be part of the sewer, which we'll mention later. Zelda 64 beta assets in Wet Dry World. Zelda 64 is the beta title for Ocarina of Time. When that game was in the beta, some theorized that the footage shown in Zelda 64 there were some textures that are very similar to some of the textures in Wet Dry World. This was confirmed in the Nintendo Giga League. Haunted dirt texture. This dirt texture has a face on it. Nothing special. It's just our brains being very good at recognizing patterns such as faces. I can also see another face. It is right here. I have no idea what this entry could be. If you know what this entry is, make sure to mention it in the comments. Many of the stages planned for Super Mario 64 have been cut due to the storage capacity of the N64 and the cartridges. Some examples being Mother Dory's Secret, Bowser in the Storm's Eye, Moto's Factory, and the infamous Bowser Room. This will be brought up later. Mario 64 is a Freemason initiation. Okay, this is just a dumb theory about the design of the levels and the coins. I mean, come on, the star has it on the coin. It has the star on it. It's not a pentagram. Skyboxes are photographs. This is, of course, true for Wet Dry World, but the other ones, I am not too sure since like half of the ones look unnatural. The end screen. The screen that appears after the credits after you beat the game has made some people unsettled. This was because of the empty atmosphere and its weird perspective, as well as the weird Yoshi picture in the background. Don't take my word for it, but since I got this information from the Chinese spyware TikTok, but this is similar to the unnerving sense that the Secret Aquarium does, with it being in an infinite black void, no skybox or anything, leading to people theorizing that the window you enter is a portal to another realm. Womp's Fortress interior. This is a missing mini-level inside of Womp's Fortress like the volcano in Lethal Wonderland. However, it was cut from the game while in development. However, some people have claimed to have seen it in their own copies. This will be brought up later. Big Boo's secret laugh. In Big Boo's haunt, you hear Big Boo's laugh as you enter the mansion. It's usually the same as the other Boo laughs, however it's extremely low chance of the laugh being lower pitched, being significantly spookier than the original laugh. Yoshi commits suicide. When you meet Yoshi after getting all 120 stars, he gives you enough lives to reach 100, the maximum, and then jumps off the roof and disappears. People had took this as Yoshi committing suicide, so you should never see him again after that in the game. Cold crevice. This is similar to Womp's Fortress interior, a missing mini level, this time it being in Cool Mountain. This will be brought up later. 120 has a spiritual significance. When looking up this exact term into Google, brings up angel numbers, in which 120 means something positive, usually related to dedication, optimism and other things. Well, you're not wrong there. Original resolution textures. The textures used in the games are 32 by 32, sometimes 64 by 32 or 32 by 64, although these can be sourced back to the pre-existing images. Rainbow Rides Village. Rainbow Cruise is a stage in Super Smash Bros. Melee, in which it is inspired by Rainbow Ride. After a while, you can see a village on one of the mountain cliffs. I have no idea why this relates to Super Mario 64, other than Rainbow Cruise being inspired by Rainbow Ride. Debug menu names. On the cutting room floor, many of the debug menus are listed in the debug content subpage. The first debug menu listed is what's called the classic debug display, in which it measures Mario's speed, angle and action, as well as memory being visible. The menu can be activated using a game chart code. The second menu is called the complex debug display, in which it shows much more values. Yes, there is another one called the debug resource meter, in which it shows the values in the sort of bar graph instead of numbers. The most complex of them all it being the object movement display, in which it shows the values used for objects that can be interactable by the player. There are also other ones like the beta stage select, crash handler, and the hitboxes used that allowed you to manipulate Mario's face on the tile screen. Bob-omb Village. This is what is believed to be the prototype for Bob-omb Battlefield. That's it. Lethal Wonderland Painting Fireball. The painting used for the Lethal Wonderland can be unsettling for some people, being very hellish, even more so than the Bowser painting. It also doesn't reflect any of the enemies in the level, since there are no Podoboo-like enemies in the game. Island in the Distance. This is a supposed vast stage that can be entered through using the wing camp to fly into certain areas in Bob-omb Battlefield, or Tiny Huge Island, with its own 7 stars that are supposedly collected if accessed. This will be brought up later.
Let's go!
The course in the Bowser painting. The Bowser painting is a painting used in the game for the corridor leading to Bowser in the Dark World and the Infinite Staircase. Many have claimed that there is a secret level in the Bowser painting that not everyone can access. These stages range from 4th Bowser level to the Eternal Fort, a mysterious unused stage. This will be brought up later. Ally with info. This is a quote sent by a Toad in the Mirror Room on the DS remake of Mario 64, in which he mentions an ally with info, with all 4 characters. With Mario, this is off because this ally with info doesn't exist in the game. Wet Dry World, negative emotional aura. When people play Wet Dry World, some of them feel a sense of discomfort, unease, or dread when playing it. I have no idea why this is because I don't suffer this myself, but the compressed area of the level could be a factor in this, since the main area is so much smaller than the much bigger main stages of the game. Peach is behind the stained glass window. This is a pretty good theory stating that Peach is behind the stained glass at the front of the castle. Since in the ending cutscene, she appears right in front of it. This has come from the many playground rumors from the 90s and 2000s. The Wario apparition. This refers to a presentation Nintendo had where Wario's head is shown in front of the portal for Die Docks. Many people had urban legends from it, claiming that seeing it will cause stroke and other horrible things. It is now a meme in the community. Metal Mario texture. This is the texture used for Metal Mario. A fisheye lens photo of some flowers in the backyard or front yard. This is an interesting because that the Nintendo made the metal texture out of this. This texture is also used in the portal for Haze Maze Case and Kevin of the Metal Cap. Brain diagram. This is a theory that Wet Dry World is the representation of a brain and its activities, and that the underwater city is a representation of the subconscious mind. Bowser broke the door. This refers to the courtyard, in which there is a brick wall in which the community assumes the original door to the courtyard was, but Bowser, with his amazing size, broke it down and tried to fix it with a small door and some bricks. This is a theoretical room in which the walls and floor are white and a window with Bowser looking at the player on one of them. Usually this has a base of operation for Bowser on extension to another room. The decompilation is censored. This refers to the PC port of Super Mario 64, in which the original was reverse engineered and decompiled, in which it has updated graphics to look more like the renders used in the promotional art. This entry suggests that the decompilation was censored by Nintendo themselves due to their infamous hatred to any fan project ever. Hazy Maze Cave entrance room is a sewer. In the room where the portal to Haze Maze Cave is located, there are pipes dotted around the walls, which led members of the community to think that the entrance room is a sewer. The Forbidden Door. This refers to the door to the cabin in Cool Mountain. For years, people have theorized of how to get in from the outside, which they have finally done it earlier last year. I don't have time to explain it all, but it was all documented in a video by Fancoke 2012. Wiggler's body parts are used in Bowser stages. Although they do look similar, they don't use the same texture. Simple as that. You could also say the same thing about the boulders in Bob on Battlefield. Full Omen Archives. This refers to a leaked archive that pioneered early emulation of the game. The archive has a lot of history behind it, but I'm not going into it in this video. Maybe in a future video? Toad Projection. On the Super Mario Bros. Forums, there is a theory posted by the user Tomix the Tank Engine, he isn't an actual train, in which they theorize that the toads are just projections through, I'm guessing, Bowser's magic, and their physical bodies are still trapped in the walls. This aims to solve the contradiction of the very first Toad you talk to says that everyone's in the walls, even though he isn't. Silicon Graphics Curse. This refers to a theory that Silicon Graphics Inc. and Nintendo were both intertwined with the development of the N64, and describes that during the development of the console, the company rapidly declined as time goes on. Toads literally trapped inside the walls. Since toads are seen up against the walls, said and that Peach can be seen at the end of the game. The community have theorized that the first is telling the literal truth about them being inside the castle walls, and then they cannot see any help. Hazy Maze Cave is the castle's septic system. This suggests that the castle's septic system is Hazy Maze Cave, and that the boulders are accumulated shit, and that the gas is farts. This is often mocked and mean for its absurdity. 29th of June 1995 build. Do not research. This specific build of the game is dated to be when the N64 was called the Ultra 64. This build is shrouded in mystery and is highly discouraged to researchers. It is serious that Nintendo did not make it, but an unknown Japanese company helped create with the
Let's go!
The internal plexus of the castle. The definition of plexus is an intricate network of basically anything. This term has been used for the interior of Peach's castle since it is bigger on the inside than the outside, and how the different levels interact with the castle itself. SwankeyBox has made a great video on this, and I will link it in the description. No, it's not that cringe kids YouTuber, it's the good one with a similar name. Enhanced SC88 samples used in soundtrack. This is complicated, but Roland SC88 is a sound canvas in which sounds can be used for whatever project you are working on. Apparently some samples were in fact used in the Super Mario 64 soundtrack. Sequel was cancelled due to temporal leakage. The sequel for Mario 64 was developed for the 64DD, or the 64 disk drive, but was cancelled due to the 64DD's failure. However, some people have theorized that a temporal leakage took place. What is a temporal leakage? It's basically an unexplainable anomaly caused the game to be cancelled, so it's kind of a joke entry, to be honest. Miyamoto stole Mario 64 from Argonaut. Before Super Mario 64 was conceived, Argonaut pitched a 3D Yoshi game to Nintendo. However, Miyamoto turned it down. Later, he turned this idea into Super Mario 64. NFR cartridge differences. NFR stands for not for resale. The NFR cartridges have some differences to the retail releases, most notably beta textures being included. Delicious cake. This refers to two things. The first can be found on the cutting room floor, in which there's some cut text from the beta. The other is a creepypasta relating to the cake mentioned in the beginning and end of the game. Shared nightmares. This is a concept that is spread across many games, but we're going to focus on Super Mario 64 only, because the title. These are usually spread from conspiracy theories. Many players have talked about nightmares that are strikingly similar to other nightmares experienced by completely different people. Most commonly, the haunted piano, the only real jump scare in a Mario game, excluding Luigi's Mansion 1, 2, and 3, and the Kellogg's partnership that used a very eerie beta penguin model, in which they speak in an unintelligible language. Lavender Town and Polybius are cover-ups for Mario 64. Around the release of Mario 64, Polybius was being shared around the internet as a long-lost arcade cabinet from the early 80s that suppressed players' emotions and mentally harmed them, and the men in black suits were seen extracting data from it. Pokemon Red and Blue, released in America in 1997, which had Lavender Town, which is most famous for its creepy theme and music, which had a creepypasta related to it, that the music caused children to commit suicide in some cases. Both urban legends are untrue, however. The community has theorized that Nintendo intentionally spread those rumors to protect the reputation of Super Mario 64 for an unknown, possibly supernatural reason.
Every copy of Super Mario 64 is personalized.
This is one massive theory, basically stating that every copy of Super Mario 64 is different for every person that bought it, and each copy tailors to each buyer's needs. and this is called the personalization AI. This AI has many capabilities, such as pulling data from the betas, such as adding back removed courses like Bowser in the Storm's Eye or the Starry Night Skies, and remove features such as the yellow cap switch. There's also a concept around this called the AI dementia, in which the AI has some sort of decay sort of thing going on with it. The first stage of this dementia thing is replacement, in which when the AI sees that data is being deleted, it starts to replace it with already existing data. So a bob-omb, with the texture being deleted, could be replaced with a dirt texture. Although everything is fine functionally wise, it rarely continues from here. So it really continues from here. But if it does, it gets to the second stage, the downward spiral, in which the deletion gets worse and worse and worse to the point where most of the game and some of the engine itself is deleted, making the game completely unplayable to everyone. And then there's the third stage called, well, it has no name, but I'm going to call it artificial heat death because I think it just sounds cool. Anyway, it basically says that the AI deletes the game and then itself, making the cartridge just a waste piece of plastic with some wafer inside. And there is no documentation of this. The personalization AI is often personified as a guy called Stanley, as a textureless Mario with white clothes and a hat with blue dungarees. Many of these things have resulted from playground rumors like It Is Real 2401 and the Mandela effect and false memories, since this game is like 30 years old and people's minds get fuzzy when it happened 20 years ago. There's also been reports of different feelings when playing different people's copies of the game, while their own copies feel just fine to play. There's also many theories of what this AI could be like. One theory is the benevolent AI theory, in which the AI is basically completely benevolent to the player and the game itself. There's also the internal manipulation theory, in which which means that the game is being damaged, or the cartridge is being damaged when the AI is doing its work, trying to tailor the game up to the buyer. And there's also the gap filler theory, in which it's basically the same as the Goblet of the Gaps theory, in which the personalization AI is basically just a turn to throne when we don't know why something's there. Basically, why we, like a few hundred years ago, we called lightning supernatural because we didn't know what caused it. There are many documentations of this, most noted by two YouTubers, Jefftastic and Greenio. Jefftastic uploaded two now removed playthroughs of the supposed 1995 beta, in which many weird anomalies happen, like the white-eyed chain jump and other things. And there's also, and the other channel, Greenio, has a series in which he uploads lots of tapes of the beta and after release of Super Mario 64. It is renamed the channel to Super Mario 64 Classified after his series. Many creepypastas have spawned from this, such as the Wario apparition, the 1995 beta, and Delicious Cake. Most of them being kind of terrible, but the personalization as a whole still persists as a sort of horror thing in the community. It has now become a meme since all the creepypastas came out, and how it basically is used to describe anything we don't really know. But I find it interesting nonetheless, and I have only scratched the surface what I've explained here. So maybe if this video gets, like, I don't know, 1,000 likes or something, maybe I'll do a video entirely dedicated to it. Well, I don't know. No one knows the future, I guess. And that was the Super Mario 64 Iceberg. And me stealing others' ideas because I have no creativity. If you made it this far into this long ass video, well done. I thank you heavily for that, because, well, I'm sort of like the most valuable thing to each channel. So yeah, but thank you anyway, because because I really worked hard on this. I had an idea for it ever since I started this channel itself, and yeah, I hope this leads to more content in the future that I want to make, and maybe even if I monetize it. That's a joke, by the way. I hope you all have a really good day. See ya.